Hello and thank you for joining me, astrologer Patrick Arundell, for your in-depth monthly horoscope for December. Now, if you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be honoured if you did so now. Please also check out my year 2021 special offer personal horoscope package. You can get the whole of year 21 and also the rest of year 2020 if you order this year. Plus you can get your character analysis, all based on your time, date and place of birth. This is going to give you searing insights. No two reports are the same. It's totally based on you, the individual. So please check that out beneath this video, and there is 30% off at this time. Hello Aries and welcome. As we make our way into the final month of what has been a tumultuous year, I'm bringing you absolutely fantastic news because we're seeing a major shift of emphasis, one that's going to affect us all, but it's also going to be hugely beneficial to you, your sign in particular. Now, the reason for this began actually at the end of last month with the annular lunar eclipse in the bright, quick-moving sign of Gemini. And that's occurred on the 30th, but it reactivated an eclipse series which first began on the 30th of May with a solar eclipse in Gemini in 1984. Because over the last 3 years we've had a series of Cancer and Capricorn eclipses, which for you has proved to be particularly challenging, especially around balancing your professional goals and hopes around your more homely emotional needs. So as we come into this month, there is a greater sense of excitement, of things moving, of ideas popping, and that's really wonderful and something to really behold. Now, of course, the North Node, that notional point of emotional direction for us all, has been in the sign of Gemini since May, and it is going to be forging a tremendous link with your ruling planet of Mars from the 9th to the 11th this month. And that can be a time when your instincts are spot on in terms of the direction of trends, fashions, or perhaps even business opportunities. You're really going to have an instinct for these areas. But also on the first day of this month, Mercury, the planet of communication, makes its way into your sister fire sign of Sagittarius, where it joins up with the Sun, which is already there. Now, this combination is going to give you a much greater sense of optimism and enthusiasm. It's absolutely terrific. And also in week 2 of this month, your ruler Mars is going to be linking amazingly positively to the Sun. So the Sun's in the part of your horoscope to do with expansion, travel, risk-taking, adventurism, higher education, the law. But with Mars in your sign now going forwards, this is going to give you a tremendous amount of extra confidence, drive, determination, and the self-belief to push through if you encounter any challenges or you want to bounce back from the impact of COVID. Now, the 14th of this month sees a glorious solar eclipse in the polar opposite sign of Gemini of Sagittarius, and that is forging a trine to your ruler Mars. And this is going to give you an amazing uplift, not just in the last 2 weeks of this year, but in the first 5.5 months of 2021. It's that good. It's going to be much more enterprising, much more living in the moment. I think whatever the realities of COVID, we're all going to have to live with it, but also there are going to be improvements in treatments. There are going to be some options. Some people may choose not to go for those options in terms of vaccinations because they won't trust that they will be prepared to a safe enough level, and that is entirely to be respected. But others will go for it. And if you're very much a trailblazing person who loves to jet around and be very action orientated, this eclipse is really going to motivate you and give you a lot of your verve and joie de vivre back, particularly if you have encountered some real difficulties with COVID throughout this year, and especially around your work. Now, the 15th sees Venus, the planet of love and affection, move from a very deep and sensual part of your scope, where she is for the first 2 weeks of this month, which could have implications for your love life and see things get a little steamy. Well, she moves on the 15th into the sign of Sagittarius as well. So you can see we're getting the stellium together. We have the Sun, we have Mercury, and we have the energy of the new moon, or the eclipse, the solar eclipse, which is going to be permeating forwards for the next 6 months. And now we have Venus, the planet of relating. So I think this is going to make you much more open-minded about the type of people you can link to, the places you can visit, the kind of cultural events that will interest you. In general, your mind is just going to really be buzzing with possibilities. It really is a gorgeous set of influences. And then on the 17th, Saturn, the planet of restriction, obstacles, limitation, and boundaries, which has been mostly, apart from the quarter year of earlier this year, from the 22nd of March, just after your period of Aries energy began, through to the 2nd of August, when it was temporarily in Aquarius, it moves back into Aquarius, where it's going to be for the next 2.25 years. Now, Saturn obviously is the ruling planet of Capricorn, and it is dignified there, but it's also the co-regent of the sign of Aquarius. So it doesn't necessarily give us a complete break from its limitation, but for you, I think it's testing out the quality of your friendships over the next 2.25 years, and also asking you if your future direction in life really is what you want. Now, on the 19th, Jupiter, which of course has been in its full in the sign of Capricorn, so it's not at its best. Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. Well, that moves into Aquarius too. And then on the 21st, the winter solstice, they come together in a conjunction in Aquarius for the first time since 1405. As I've been joking, the year before I was born. But seriously, 1405, that's how rare this is. And that triggered a cultural revolution. So this is going to also trigger a lot of different ways of how we are going to exist. It's pushing the concept of community, of networking, of collectivism, of pushing to one side a little more, being motivated only by material success and gains, and actually gaining a lot more by our connections. So it's very much about community, and you're going to be a leading player in pushing this forward. Your leadership skills will really come out in terms of this in the years to come. Now, of course, the 21st, the winter solstice, is also when the sun reaches the earth point, the cardinal point of Capricorn, which does remind you that your goals, responsibilities, obligations are still going to be important to you. It's just your tactics are going to change, I feel. Or for all of us, there's going to be a shift in how we view all sorts of opportunities, but also challenges. Now, as we come to the end of this year, in the last 2 weeks, Mars, your ruler, does square up with Pluto, which is a kind of repeat of some of the awkward energy that's been going on between Mars, Jupiter, initially from the 27th of July, obviously for an extended period Saturn, and once again now Pluto. So this is a tricky one, and if there has been someone you have found it hard to achieve equanimity with, an agreement, perhaps it's been a line manager, someone who works for you, someone older or younger in the family, or you're having a clash of will, it could be because your more principled way of living your life is coming up against more traditional forces that want to keep the status quo as it has been for some time. But your desire to achieve your goals is going to be awesome with this combination. The key here is not to take shortcuts, not to ride roughshod over anyone else's rights. Make sure that you're above reproach when it comes to fairness, but keep driving forwards. And then on the final day of the year, we do have the full moon. And this full moon is in Cancer, which is all about emotion. So we do have a little bit of a repeat of the Cancer Capricornian energy that's been so prominent over the last few years, but it's not in eclipse form. So that's something that we can all let a sigh of relief out about. But you're going to be so much more dynamic. I think the Earth's reality is going to change a lot as we get to the end of this year. I think there is going to be a much greater speeding up of all sorts of solutions, even if it's things like quick tests at airports where you get the results in 10 minutes, and if you're clear, you're good to go on a flight to a holiday. That kind of stuff is going to become much more to the fore. Also, there's going to be much more efficient testing amongst the community, and that's going to also be helping with COVID. But generally, there's going to be a much more enterprising, lighter, fiery pushback. And we're all going to be feeling much more determined to reclaim our personal space, our ability to be free spirits. You're going to be leading the way, and I think that you're going to end this year feeling so much more optimistic than you have for several months. So I'd like to wish you a very happy new year. Let's hope 2021 really is so much better for you and us all. But for now, take care. Happy Christmas, stay safe, good luck, and goodbye.